So, guys, my trade deadline has passed. Now, what the hell do I do? Luckily, I'm in an ungodly amount of leagues, so I've got some that don't have trade deadlines. But in the ones that I do, what do I do now?
Now, this is a good topic. We get a lot of trade questions, but then we also find people that are like, okay, I have a trade question, and then I find out after asking 3 follow-up questions, no, this is actually a trade that I'm going to make now, but it's not until 2023 where I care about it. And what triggered this was just a discussion about, okay, what is the timing in terms of trading? If your trade deadline has passed, what types of trades are you looking to make when it opens back up? One thing that I'm not looking to do is pay sticker price with picks for players. Why would you do that? Especially players that are going to still play 3, 4, 5 more games into the playoffs. Why would you trade a pick for a player that might play 3 playoff games? Could get injured during the playoffs. There's no incentive to make that kind of move because in theory, you should be able to get the same type of deal in February when the season ends. March, April. I mean, really things start to change around combine time and then rookie draft time. There's another changing point. But really what you should be looking to do is maximize the current roster that you have. Use the waiver wire. Wait to see who gets picked up. Wait to see who gets dropped by other teams. Listen to the roster construction series that I did and try to get yourself as close to that as you can going into the offseason. That doesn't mean all the players are going to stay the same. But an easy thing is if you're out of it, you can't trade. You have nothing to play for. You don't have a toilet bowl that you're trying to play for. Those teams right now can start going, okay, why am I carrying this wide receiver 5 that I picked up? Why is Greg Dortch on my roster? Why is Richie James on my roster? No, those types literally cut them, pick up anything that's living, breathing, possibly could be on a roster next year at running back. If they're not, they're not. But you also know you don't need Jarrett Stidham, Nick Mullins, some of these backup quarterbacks you might have been stashing in case there was an injury, and you don't need a lot of the roster clogger receivers that you might have been using just as stashes. Same with backup tight ends. You don't need the backup tight end on the Falcons. I've seen people picking those guys up when Pitts went down. After Pitts went down, why? So maximize, even if it's a 5% advantage, there's nothing worse than going into the offseason and it's like, oh shit, my waiver wire closed. I have a bunch of guys I don't want. So let me just cut them, and then you carry 7 empty roster spots until May when you can start picking players up. Why do that? Why not take shots on players that could maybe hit free agency? Maybe a player could leave and there could be a sell window. Like those minor margins can be the difference between maybe a win or something next year.
Any thoughts, Shane?
Scott said a lot there. I forgot. Am I in contention in this hypothetical, theoretical thing? Am I?
No, you're a little depressed because you're not making the playoffs. Yeah, you're out of it.
No shot at anything. No, I like
don't.
The thing I like that Scott said mostly specifically is what guys can gain value from being free agents. Are there 4th-year wide receivers that are going to be moving to another team? I know Scott hates roster clogger wide receivers, but is there someone that I'd be able to sell later, even if it is just for a 4th? Even if it is just for a 3rd, because their situation's changed and people think because situation has changed that suddenly this player is going to actually be useful somewhere else. Like I'm not sure of Van Jefferson's contract status, but just someone like Van Jefferson, right? Mm-hmm. Just find his Van Jefferson stand-in. You've got a Van Jefferson sitting out there and he's moving on the free agency next year. And someone's telling themselves, well, if he just lands in the right situation, he could definitely, could be pop next year. So that's someone that I'd want to buy, even though we know that's not going to happen. Like a Van Jefferson type moving in free agency, nothing's going to happen except he's going to go be the wide receiver 3 or 4 on another roster. Yep. No matter how much they talk him up.
Okay, so if you're watching this on replay, we're going to be going over trade deadline questions. Maybe the trade deadline has passed, but we have lots of folks who don't have a trade deadline or theirs is coming up. So we're going to be doing a lot of inbox trades. People have these offers sitting in their inboxes and we're going to help them out. If you are live in the audience with us, thank you as always for joining. Tuesdays and Saturdays, they are days with trades in 5 and they are our days with you. So we appreciate it. Let's go to Jordan. He's got a super chat for us. Thank you very much, sir. 10-team, start 10, PPR, 2 QB. Only got Aaron Jones at RB, but have projected 103, 104, and 2 late 23 firsts. Could use one wide receiver. Advice to make my team well-rounded, and that was one of two. And I'm sure Shane got the other part, and he did. I have Mahomes, Lamar, Watson, Waddle, CeeDee, Judy, Garrett, Burks, Deontay, and Mark Andrews.
Mahomes,
So
Lamar.
we'll go back to this first one. It's 10 team start 10 PPR 2 QB.
I mean, it's a pretty stacked roster.
Yeah, what do you mean you
Yeah.
could use one wide receiver? Go back to that list of wide receivers for me.
Yeah, he's got
some
like
good
6
ones.
of the top 30.
Go back to that, Jordan. Bro, you got Waddle, CD, Garrett. I'm
CD,
guessing that's
Garrett,
Garrett
Burks.
Wilson. Okay, I guess you could.
They're
upgrade.
solid, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
good.
Judy's his wide receiver 7, so it's not
You
a
could-
terrible problem to have.
You could definitely upgrade on, Judy and Deontay, but Burks is a rookie too, and Burks has popped the last 3 weeks, so we like what we see. Like, I don't think you're in a position where you need to go get another wide
Mhm.
receiver, but if you wanted to use one of those picks and attach it to, say, Burks and try to get yourself just another top 12 wide receiver because it's fun having all of them, sure, I'm all for that.
Yeah, who would he even get if he didn't want to go all the way up to Jefferson or Chase, because he could tack on the 103 to Deontay and try to get up there, at least give it
Yeah.
a shot. I mean, it'll probably get turned down, but
The problem with Deontay is everyone hated him anyway when he was
Burks.
scoring points.
how about
Yep.
103 and Burks for Chase? Give that a shot.
Give it
Why
a
not,
shot.
right?
It's going to get rejected, but give it a shot. You know what I mean? Although, look, I don't know that it'll be rejected. I don't know what that other dude's team looks like. That other
It is
I mean-
a 2
team could be
QB. It
absolute
is a
trash
2
can.
QB.
I was just going to say it's a 2 QB, and I mean, he's got just an embarrassment of riches at quarterback. So he probably doesn't want to pick quarterbacks with those picks. So I actually would say be the one that's trying to shop one of those, probably the 103, because honestly, if you know the league is going to chase at least one quarterback in the top 2 or 3, maybe 2, your 103 and your 104 are probably pretty valuable considering teams may need a quarterback. I mean, look at his quarterbacks. Like somebody else probably needs one where they're hoping to hit on a higher level one, since he has
Mhm.
3 of the top 8. And so I'm guessing somebody's like, man, I'm rolling out 2 guys that I really don't think are that great. I need a third, and I'd like to get somebody with an actual ceiling. So give me that 103. So I think he probably can trade the 103 for something higher tier. But I personally, with where he's sitting, I would actually be okay going for, and this sounds a little crazy, can he get a true anchor running back for one of those picks?
Mhm.
Like a warp difference maker. So literally there is 3 or 4 of those guys, and I'm not settling for anybody less. So it's like, wait till the end of the year. Another thing is I'm not trading for a running back now when there's still 5 games left in the year. I'm not taking the chance that I trade for, Saquon Barkley and then he tears another ACL. And then it's like, all right, why did I do that? His price is not going to go anywhere except for down when we get to the off season. But yeah, as soon as the season ends, like all those picks are on the block. And it's just, how do I make my top, what's it, a 10 team start 10?
Yep.
Mhm.
And he already has his 3 quarterbacks. So it's basically a rotation of 8 skill players. How do I make my top 12 skill players as badass as possible?
Right.
And just go from there and just look for upgrades everywhere, dude. With that team, if you just have 2 of those quarterbacks, it's going to be a playoff team just almost with the quarterbacks alone and Andrews. Yep. So, I mean, you had all the leverage, bro.
And I was going to say, I don't want to make those rookie picks. I have no need for those rookie picks. I have a bunch of young rookie wide receivers. Like, the only way I'm making those rookie picks is if I can't trade for a running back. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs and I'm going to guess Zach Charbonnet here. And that's who I'm going to hope is my anchor RB.
Thank you, Jordan. We appreciate that super chat. Hopefully that helped you out. So let's move on to an inbox trade from Texan Wolverine. 12-team, half PPR, super flex, start 9, rebuilding, and have Josh Allen. Give Lance Hall a late 23 first, get Lamar and a 24 first.
Done. Easy.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
And you got a first back too, just for funsies. Like you're just basically trading Lance and Hall for Lamar and kicking the can down the year like the Eagles did to the what do you call those people, the Saints, and then you'll probably end up with the better pick anyway, like 7th overall or whatever the the equivalent of that is in a 12-team league as opposed to a 32-team NFL team league.
NFL team league. No, yeah, I always think it's funny when you see a trade, and not only are you getting the best player, but you're also getting a first. It's like, yes, please. First shouldn't be on the same side as the best player in a deal.
I mean, listen, we have a video that'll be coming out talking little Trey Lance, and this is one of the reasons we mentioned in the video why you want Trey Lance, because he is still viewed. Go look at anybody that's done a recent startup or even a startup mock. Go look at the quarterbacks and where they go and how much, at least early returns on like what future values are going to be startup wise, how haves and have nots the quarterback landscape has become. It's basically like there are 13 quarterbacks in Dynasty that people trust. Trey Lance is like QB 12 or 13. After that, you don't even want anybody else. Then you're going like, man, do I really want to take Kenny Pickett in the 3rd round of the startup? Do I want to take Mac Jones in the 4th round of the startup? Because you're going, at least I know those guys are probably starters for multiple years. But why take those guys when in round 11 or round 10 or round 9, I can take a shot on, next year's Teddy Bridgewater or Mitch Trubisky. And it's like, all I need is a little luck to go their way, and they start. And they're really not that big of a difference between those guys and Mac Jones. So I think Trey Lance is one of those, like, I just want Trey Lance shares because the community thinks he's much closer to, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson than he really is.
So I put this up there because this was a question from one of our subscribers in the community tab. Where would Lance rank a QB going into next season? If we're wanting to compete in 2023, should we make alternative QB plans?
Yes, he should not be your QB1. I'll say that on your roster. I'm not comfortable with him actually being my QB2 unless my QB1 is absolutely bananas lights out. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, not in that order. Just because, the downside to Trey Lance is this guy could be an absolute trash can. He could be Zach Wilson-esque. Like we haven't seen anything from him to indicate that he actually is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. So I'm definitely making alternative plans. Now, that said, my alternative plans might be Geno Smith, Jimmy Garoppolo, someone in that tier, Mac Jones, some low end starter that I feel comfortable enough starting week to week. And then maybe if Lance doesn't hit, then maybe I can add 2 and hopefully get a real quarterback. But if then Lance does hit, then, obviously I'm set.
He's too valuable to pick where he's going right now. And for that same reason, he's somebody that I'm trying to go upwards on to get somebody that's more secure, but also good. Can I add 2 seconds and get Trevor Lawrence? Can I add the same and get Dak Prescott? I don't put it this way. I want out of Trey Lance 100% entirely until August when I know he's healthy. They haven't signed Tom Brady. They have all their weapons intact. I don't think his value is going to go much any higher than where it is right now. But I also think if he gets to that point, you're still going to be able to buy in if you really believe in him at a price that's around that range. Like he's not going to go from QB 12 to QB 7 because he's healthy. People are still going to go, man, I'm going to take T-Law over him. I'm going to take Watson over him. Like he's just never going to go anywhere except for where he is. He's already priced, I think, at his ceiling until he hits in the NFL. And there's just too many outs where he doesn't live up to this. So I want out now if I can.
And like Scott said, we just recorded a show with Trey Lance in it, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, thank you for the super chat, Ryan. 16 teams, start 7, no flexes, 10-2, young and good, not great. Lamar, young and good, not great. Lamar, Jonathan Taylor, Monty, Chase, Lamb, Pitts on IR, starting Noah Gray with an exclamation point. Would you trade Pitts for Kelsey from a non-contender or aim lower? No 2023 round 2 or 3 picks.
We did this. We talked about this Kelsey Pitts, right? And this is one of those exact situations where I went, I'd give up Pitts for Kelsey here because I'm a contender. And quite frankly, at this point, I believe in Kelsey being a unicorn that is just going to be a tight end 1 or the tight end 1 probably until he decides he doesn't want to smash linebackers and DBs anymore. So I'm good with this deal.
So it's a start 7, but there is somehow Kelsey is on a non-contender. So either their rest of their team is just terrible, or I'm probably guessing that this is not a league that's super active and the values are all over the place. It is weird, though, in such a shallow league that Kelsey is on a non-contender. So I think you probably go to that non-contender and you go, okay, how can we help each other out even more? Can I get a future second from you on top of it or something like that too? And because he's probably got to make this trade. I'm guessing there's probably nobody else coming close to what he's asking for Kelsey. So, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, YOLO, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
And then next year, when
because he's starting Noah Gray, like how is he going to feel when he's got Kelsey in that spot instead of Noah Gray? Probably
about 18 to 22 points a week better.
Exactly. All right, thanks again, Ryan. Appreciate that, man. Let's go to this one. So Deshaun Watson, he's coming back this week, huh? I've got quite high exposure to Deshaun Watson. I believe, similar to you guys, that he's undervalued and elite. But is there something to be said for lack of liquidity if many don't want him on their team? That's a good question.
Let me say this about the people that don't want him on their teams. They don't want him on their team. They don't want him on their team when he's not scoring points. It's amazing what happens when a player starts scoring points. A couple of years ago when Joe Mixon was coming into the draft, and I'm not making a personal declaration on any of this. I knew a lot of people that were like, I would never touch Joe Mixon. Yep. He's a terrible person. And then those same people, when Joe Mixon started to smash, were sending me trade offers for him. Now, there is going to be a small group that's always just going to be like, well, no, my morals are thrown through my fantasy football team, so I will never trade for Deshaun Watson. Well, good for you. Your team's probably bad because you make decisions based on your personal feelings. And I probably wouldn't be able to trade him to you anyway. I do get the point that there is going to be a subset of people that won't value him and won't trade for him. But I'm personally not concerned about that. So I'm not concerned about his lack of liquidity.
Time heals wounds as time goes by. I mean, the bigger risk with Watson is that if there's something else that happens, then the clock resets. But I think if he comes out, plays well, goes into the offseason, he's going to be right in the same group where we've been putting him. And very few people are going to go, yeah, I don't want him. I think just to answer the question directly, if this is me, I play it the same way, and it's not just Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of players that their values fluctuate week to week, month to month, season to season, and there's a lot of narratives to why demand on a player might be higher or might be lower. There's a lot of players that have no off-the-field transgressions, but guess what? They're on bad teams, bad franchises, bad quarterbacks, and people just go, I don't want that guy. I don't want Drake London or Kyle Pitts because you know what? The Falcons are stupid. There's just as many of those people out there that don't want those guys at their market price than Deshaun Watson. So I balance your exposure. If you have 30% Watson, get it to 20% and look for the leagues where you can make the pivots that you're comfortable with. Shop them in every league. That's the biggest thing of how you play this. If you have 30% exposure on a player and you want to lower it, you need to shop him in all 30% of your places and take the 2 or 3 deals that are closest to what your value is. You may go to the league and you go, I don't want Watson in that league because I know the managers don't want him. Well, of course, nobody's really going to trade for him at the deal you want. That's a league you're going to have to keep him. So I think you just play your exposure against it. You're going to find one or 2 deals and you're going to be good.
Yeah, and just in general, like you kind of want to limit your exposure to players anyway, not because you don't believe in them, but one, we're wrong a lot. You know what I mean? We are wrong a lot. I absolutely loved, obviously, Sky Moore and James Cook. Got him in every rookie draft I could. Really not feeling great about that. You know what I mean? Really not feeling great about that. Although Sky Moore does have 12 targets in the last 2 weeks. Anywho, but also because of injury, right? Deshaun Watson goes out there and he sprains his knee and he's out 6 weeks. Well, that's your starting quarterback in 50% of your leagues. You're screwed, to put it eloquently.
Oh, let me just add one more point, Clay.
Okay.
If there is a position that I am willing to break my exposure rules on, it's an elite quarterback. Where I'm much more cognizant of it is running backs, even high-end receivers. We've seen, especially the high-end receivers that we know are one bad year from taking a downturn and they may not get it back. Guys that are, you don't want to be overexposed to Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, even though like they have another year or two of being like peak value. you don't want to be overexposed on those guys because they are one change in situation or one injury from it's like they're never going to recover their demand. It's not their value, it's the demand. You actually want players that are in high demand, not the highest value, just that you can transact when you want to. That's how you play a portfolio.
Jake got in here at 6:58 and threw this up here. So we're throwing it up here now. 12 team Superflex, half PPR, start 10. Lamar Jackson for Derrick Henry, Kelsey, and a 24 first. I have Tua, Daniel Jones, Tannehill as my other QBs competing, and we'll have the bye week. Other team is eliminated. I'm not doing it. Lamar's.
I mean, he's getting Lamar, right? Or he's giving Lamar.
No, he's giving Lamar.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't do it, man. Oh,
with that QB room.
Henry and Kelsey is such an upgrade over probably anything else you're starting there. Oh, man.
Is there another path to getting either Henry or Kelsey? Because the other team's eliminated, are they still probably motivated to trade those guys? But does it have to be Lamar? Is there anything else that you can add to do it? Can you move?
Tua for Kelsey and the 23 first, 24 first?
I mean, I would be fine adding a first to like Daniel Jones if you had to get Kelsey or to get Derrick Henry. I know it's a little bit of an overpay, but that's
okay. So if I'm the Kelsey owner and you're offering me Daniel Jones in a first, am I taking that? I'm not taking that.
What's he motivated to trade Kelsey in the first? I mean, Daniel Jones is a guaranteed starter next year.
It feels like reading between the lines here, because that's what I'm good at. Lamar is what is the whole point of this trade. That dude is trying to get Lamar, and he's like, all right, fine. You can have Kelsey, he's old. You can have Derrick Henry, he's a running back, and he's old. And yeah, I'll throw in a first. Like that Lamar has got to be it. Like it can't be any other. You know what I mean? Like that's what's making the dude.
Okay, then if that's the case, Lamar is worth 4 to 5 firsts, and I want 2 more firsts in the deal. And you can break up my roster construction. You're gonna overpay me though, because he has Tua and Lamar and 2 other quarterbacks. He's breaking up how he's building his team for the next 5 weeks worth of points, and this could blow up in his face. So you need to pay me a little more insurance than what you're giving me. So do you have a 23 first? That's mine. Do you have another pick in the future? That's mine. Do you have a receiver I can start? I want probably 5 firsts worth of trade value, because
you have to tax because you're not getting a QB in return.
And a lot of what I'm taking is Derrick Henry, Travis Kelsey. Those are like they're worth what they are for the next 6 weeks. And then I'm holding the bag on a bunch of expiring assets.
All right. He's starting Gesicki and Henry. So I put that up.
I can see why he's looking at this going, man, because the fact that he asked that he's past his bye in the question means he's looking literally at the next month. He's going, all my quarterbacks are past their bye, and I can plug in Derrick Henry, Travis Kelsey. Man, I'm going to win my league,
No doubt. Okay, so we're 23 minutes in here. We've got 241 people. Thank you very much for joining. Tuesdays are always fun, man. Take a look down, hit that like if you haven't already. We appreciate you. Let's move on to the next one. Let's keep the speed up. You can see why we can take so long on these, right? Because we can't stop. We love
very
it.
verbose.
Very verbose. We used to be a 5-minute trade show. Remember that, guys? Eric's got an inbox trade. So let's help him out here. 10-team, super flex, half PPR, no tight end premium, start 12. Rebuilding with no running backs. Trade Breeze and a 23 second and a 24 second, early to mid, for 23 and 24 firsts, both mid. What do you think?
I'm gonna say that he's rebuilding. I'll take the picks. I'll take the 23 Jesus Christmas 23 and the 24 first. And I love Breece Hall. The way this is positioned, it makes me think that Breece Hall is not going to help him in any way whatsoever next year.
I'm not doing it.
I think the math goes the other way here, Shane, because you're giving up 3 assets for 2 in a start 12, and it's a 10-team. If I give up the 14th pick and the 13th pick in the next 2 drafts, and I give up I'm getting back the 7th pick and the 10th pick. Really, I'm just arguably the guy that's getting Brees is going, man, if these picks are at all like just a half a round apart, I just stole Brees Hall.
Right. But again, the 24 pick, we have no idea when that's going to be. So that's again,
but he's taking back a 24 first. What if that's a 204 and a 109?
Right now, that 24 first that he's getting is the 101, and the 24 second that he's giving up is the 112, is the 212.
So here's the deal.
People look at it.
The deal is I want the 23 and the 24 for Brees Hall. At best, I'll give you the 24 second back, and that's it. I'm not giving you both. I'm going to send it for both first. If you really want Brees Hall, you can come after him with the 2 firsts in a 10-team half PPR.
Yep.
There you go. I'm not just throwing in the 2 seconds to make the other guy feel good. So there you go.
Nope. Yep. Send a counter. Send a counter. You can just
Scott
leave
Claire
both
against
seconds
me tonight. They're my enemies.
We are your friends. Okay, let's go to another one here. And yep, this guy got me. Weird questions. Now you got to answer them, right? Yep. Yeah. What's each of your single favorite teams / leagues you've been in since you've had a million over the past years? Part 2. What is the funniest punishment you've seen from a last place finish? Our league, the loser had to attend a WNBA game alone and sober. No drinking and no phone. You got any of these? You got any of these guys?
I don't have any good last place ones. I mean, the best ones I've seen, and then everyone started doing it, was you have to eat at Waffle House for 24 hours, which to me actually sounds like fun. Like that would be an adventure. I would like to do that. But as far as my favorite league, easy for me. It's a what do you call that? Dynasty Trades HQ Listener League #1, because it's the very first listener league that I had for content that I created. And it was incredible to me that someone, let alone 16 other people, much more than that, wanted to be in a league with me, to play with me and beat me, which is most of what the people emailed us to tell us, is that they wanted to play so that they could beat me. So that's my favorite league. And it's probably one of the most challenging too, because it's 16 team super flex and it's start 11. So that's my favorite league ever. And it probably always will be. Although Dynasty Trades in 5, when I add Bijan Robinson to Deshaun Watson and Kenny Pickett next year, that might shoot up the board.
I've got your first in that one.
One of those leagues, I got the 101.
In the auction league, you've got the 101 line.
Yeah, in the auction league, I've got like 37 firsts.
Scott?
Man, I'm trying to sit there and think of I just play Dynasty like a robot at this point. Like, I don't really have a favorite league. It's all business. I could easily detach from the ones that I don't like. I would say, I don't want to say this is my favorite league, because I don't love, part of what makes it a favorite is there's got to be some sort of nostalgia, and there has to be something about the other people in the league that make me, I don't want to say that they bother me, but it's almost like it's a challenge to try to beat them, more so than like if I'm in a league with you guys, it's like, cool, I beat you, or you guys beat me, whatever. So I have a league that it's one of my longer leagues. It's, I think, in the 7th season, and it was one of the ones where when the first big trade I made, I traded away Todd Gurley for Jay Cutler in a second. And that was before Gurley's massive 2017 season, because I needed a quarterback. Right. And then that trade has haunted me ever since. And I'm finally, and it's a weird league where it's a pretty big buy-in and only 4 teams make the playoffs. So there's been a couple times where it's like I finished 5th or 6th and I have a decent team, but 4 teams is rough. This year, I'm finally probably in a spot. I made a big bet on Jalen Hurts before the year, and it paid off. And people were like, oh, no way. You gave up 3 firsts for him. That's way too much. And, it has paid off. So that's probably my favorite in terms of what challenges me. And the punishment, I don't know.
Yeah, we're pretty lame. We don't do punishment.
Yeah. We wanted to do one at a rookie draft where the loser was wearing a wife beater and a tutu and had to sit on a little kid chair during the draft. But we never got to that because a little thing called COVID happened. But yeah, I don't have any good weird stories. My favorite league is the home league. That's when I used to have one, and then I met Shane, and then I had like 6, like pretty much immediately, and then I met Scott. And now I'm up to insert large number of leagues. We're gonna hide that one. All right, thank you, Dylan. You got me. You said weird question, and you got me to answer it. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. We've got a super chat, Shirley. Let's get the next one that we had up here. Davis Daniels, 123. Thank you very much. Just wanted to update you all from last week. Was able to trade Pickens, a mid 23 second and mid 24 second for Kelsey instead of Pickens and a first. Thanks for your advice.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
That's how you haggle. Part of this game is being able to relate to people and negotiate. Good job.
Yeah. Because I mean, if somebody is trading Kelsey, they'd like to have Kelsey off their roster. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be thinking about it, right? So you have a little bit of leverage, just for that reason alone. Well, thank you, Davis. Appreciate that, man. Good trade. It's good to be able to throw that up there. We like to celebrate wins with you. Okay, so let's move that one. Let's go here. Declane. Thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex tight end premium. Send Amon-Ra. Get Mark Andrews. It's a tight end premium league. We're not sure how much it is. Let's just say it's a 1.5 tight end premium.
Yes.
It's the points per game is probably going to be fairly similar. Maybe slightly advantage to Andrews, but even if it was equal, man, give me the shot at having elite tight end production, even if it's only every other week. I'm taking that all day. Good deal.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. Thank you for that. Shane, they're never going to find you. The police officers in the back. You're good. You're good. And you have 238 people here to protect you. All right. So this is a good one.
Not according to the likes.
Ooh, this is from the milk crate. This is a good one. I know you guys have said that once names get assigned to rookie picks, it changes things. With that said, does that mean that the 101 is worth more now than it will be when that becomes Bijan?
No, I actually think this is one of those years where if you look at most of your leagues, the 101, you already know what it is. You already know who's going to have it. You pretty much can identify within one or two picks who has it. A lot of my leagues, it's already spoken for. Like you look at the potential points and it's like, wow, that team has 500 less potential points than the next team. Like they have the 101 locked down. And I think we're at a point where the consensus on the 101 is greater than I've ever remembered it on who the 101 is going to be. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of change. I do wonder what the actual market value of the 101 is going to be. Because I've even seen some people doing startups right now. I've watched a couple startups that are for decent stakes, and the 101 is going like mid to late second, which you might think, oh, that's late. But then think about the dynasty landscape now. Who is excited to start their team with a running back and pass up a top 10 quarterback? Not a lot of people. So then it pushes them into the second round where it's like, okay, you can see someone takes Chase and Jefferson and 12 quarterbacks, and maybe they don't like running backs, so they take CeeDee Lamb or Jalen Waddle. It's like, okay, the 101 is a mid-second. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Shane? Do you think it actually I don't think it has the possibility of breaking into the elite quarterback tier.
I think we're over that, or we understand that running backs, I don't want to say are replaceable, but let's just say there's a lot of risk involved with running backs, right? After everybody went absolutely bananas over Saquon, and I bring this story up all the time, and it's not to make fun of the person in any way, but we were in a Devy League draft. It was a Devy League, and it was the startup, and Saquon Barkley went in the first round in a Devy League. So it blew my mind. I can't ever see that happening again. Now I could be wrong because Bijan, again, he seems like a generational talent, but like, what is he going to do that increases his value between now and the draft? Like we already know his combine numbers are going to be bananas, right?
He just has to stay healthy.
Literally, that's it. If his landing spot is great, like, okay, like there's so much risk involved with that running back that like I have the 101 in a couple leagues. I'm tanking very well in a couple leagues. Shed points, folks, shed points. And I honestly don't know that I want to draft Bijan in those leagues. Like I just want to trade out. And I don't know that I'm going to get a deal that I actually like, to be quite frank. And I got a feeling that I'm just going to go, all right, I guess I'm taking Bijan here, and I hope that he smashes like Kenneth Walker in the first 3 weeks, and then I can trade him then. It is going to be interesting to watch.
I'm gonna Shane hit a point that I think we're gonna talk. This is gonna be one of our biggest talking points over the next couple months. You just said the magic words. I look at the team that has the 101 in a lot of the leagues, and I look at their roster, and I go, what the hell are they doing? They're going to have the 101, but they have no quarterbacks. They have 2 good receivers. They have a team that literally just finished 1,000 points behind the champion. Like they're light years behind being a competitive team, but they have this 101. And you go to them and you go, Shane, I want to trade for your 101. And you go, I want 4 firsts. Like, okay,
Right.
no one's paying that. Okay, 3 firsts. No one's paying that. Shane, I'll give you the current value of Kenneth Walker when he became the starter and smashed a couple weeks. That's like what, 2 firsts, something like that. You wouldn't take that. So really, what is the price point that the manager with the 101, but just an absolute dog shit team? What are they doing? What is their goal? Like, are they aggressively trying to sell it? And here's my last point. Do we see that like the 102 and 103 are kind of similar valued at this point?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what if Bijan said tomorrow, I just got $5 million in NIL, I'm going back to college? How far down would
And
that
there's a lot of
101
orphan
go?
teams. No, it would go down significantly. 102. Yeah. Don't say that, Scott.
No, it's an exercise to say, okay, the gap between the 101 and everything else is so large, but if you removed one player, we would now be looking at those picks like, oh, I don't really care if I have the 101 or the 102 now. You know, that's the difference. And I just don't know that the 101 manager is. Maybe it's too early, but I haven't seen anybody even going, hey, I'm shopping that 101, because I actually don't think that they're ready for the answer of, yeah, I'm not really going to give you more than 2 firsts for it.
Yeah.
And
so
the correct move is if someone offers you 2 firsts, you should take it if your team is bad. Like Bijan Robinson is not going to carry your team. Now, if you've traded for that 101, obviously, because you're just good at trading and your team is, good, fine, add Bijan to it. But like if Bijan's like his 30 points a week, let's just give him Christian McCaffrey at his peak. He's giving you 30 points a week, but the rest of your team can only scrape together 69 to 90, depending on, your format. Really not going to matter.
Yeah. If I'm selling the 101, I want a young wide receiver and a first. Because I've got the 101 for a reason. That means I probably suck or, rebuilding. Excuse me. So give me the wide receiver in the first. Okay, let's go to the next one here. A lot of people with 3-part questions tonight. Yeah, better start it with weird, and I'll pull it up. Nerdworks Media, thank you very much for the super chat. Cool avatar. 12 team Superflex PPR start 9 have Josh Allen and Burrow as QBs. Good start there. Sell Cousins for 2 early 23 seconds. If not, what? Trade deadline tomorrow. Definitely a contender.
I don't. Go ahead, Scott.
No. And the reason is you have like the best insurance that money can buy right now. The only way I'm doing this type of deal is if you're also throwing me back Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones. I want a 3rd quarterback back, but clearly you're after my Kirk Cousins, so you think your quarterbacks are worse than him. And you're probably not going to get that deal, but I just talked about this the other day. When you have 3 quarterbacks that are like top 15-ish like this, use your QB3 spot as a way to generate some extra value, but don't trade out of it low because someone's offering, this is the best somebody's offering you. That's a nice problem to have right there with that quarterback room. You just sit that for a couple of years, you're going to be good.
Yeah, you wouldn't just give Kirk Cousins for Jimmy Garoppolo and 1 early 23 second, would you?
I try to get the 2 because it's a psychology.
But would you do it if it were just 1 second?
It's a process trade, and you're basically just hoping that Jimmy G and Cousins are somewhere in the same ballpark for the next 2 years. And if so, you're good. But think of the psychology, though. The person that is coming after your Kirk Cousins and trying to buy him for 2 seconds, what's probably true about that roster? A, their quarterbacks probably are bad, or they don't have enough of them. B, they probably don't even have any firsts either, right? They're trying to give you 2 seconds. Like if they had a random late first, maybe you could agree to take that. But they're not offering that. So you either counter with, I need a first, but I think more importantly, you counter with, I need a first and you need to give me Jared Goff, something like that. Like got to put their feet to the fire. You don't just hand them a quarterback like this because you're selling your
Yep.
insurance cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. To me, that speaks to a manager that goes, "What's the cheapest quarterback one I can get? It's Kirk Cousins, because no one realizes he's quarterback one all the time. So let me go to the guy that has smashing quarterbacks and see if I can just get him off of him, because he's got so many good quarterbacks. So now I'll let Kirk Cousins show on my roster till the offseason. We'll worry about moving a quarterback then."
So I believe it was Connor the other day posted this in one of the YouTube comments. We didn't get back to him on it, and I was like, "Hey, what do you know? We got a live stream tonight. What is Josh Jacobs' dynasty value right now? Would you take, if you were contending, would you give your late 23 first for Josh Jacobs?"
No. You know the funny thing? It's no higher than it was before the season, because you know what? I don't get the points that he scored last week or the points that he scored this first 6 weeks of the season. And that just, if you really wanted to pay late first because your roster construction said I need a running back and Josh Jacobs is the one that I want to bet on the rest of the year, I don't think any of us are going to say that's a terrible trade. But just think about putting yourself in these situations going forward. You don't buy into a year 4, year 5, year 6 running back and go, man, I hope he plays well this year so his value will go up and I can sell him. You're the one buying their grenade that you can't pass off to anybody else. So they better score a lot of points. So he is a hard player to go, I want to go buy, because it feels like literally the expiration date can happen at any point. And we're all jaded in life in ways too. I feel as soon as I give up the first for Josh Jacobs, it's like, oh man, that injury he's got is a little worse than possible, or than what we thought. And they're holding him out for 2 weeks, So it hasn't gone up much. And it's because the demand is not any higher. He's better than what you thought he was going to be, but the demand isn't there.
And with him too, I don't know if he has this year, but it always seems to be like, he gets banged up during a play and he like hobbles off and you're like, oh, there it is. There, Josh Jacobs is hurt. And then he's like back in, after a few plays, and like just grinds through his games.
But you look historically and like Josh Jacobs is a freaking bell cow.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it feels like he's going to break at any point. But then you look at his numbers, you're like, damn, he averages like 290 touches a season. I mean, geez.
Look, you want to win a title? I don't give a shit. Yeah, give up a 23 late first for him. Look, we're at this point of the season.
Put this up here first off.
Sorry, not me. Look,
Shane's boredomly clicking buttons.
Sorry, I want to win. I really don't want to give up a 23 first for any running back whatsoever. Like it hurts me inside. But some point you gotta take a leap of faith and hope that a guy's just going to make it through the rest of the season. Obviously, I would try to steal Kenny Walker or someone else, someone like that from another team. I'd do the whole, can I give up a second and go get, can I get Deontay Foreman instead? Can I get, who's the other guy? Latavius Murray for a third. All that fails. And I'm left with, I have one move to make, and they're going to let me get Josh Jacobs or insert old running back that's smashing. I will pay for old running back that's smashing.
Carbon Copy came in here early to 6:11 p.m. So let's address this one. 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, half PPR. He or she sent projected 106 and 306 for Pitts and a fourth. Looking to compete next year, still have projected 103 and 105. Currently have Higbee and Knox at tight end. I love it. That's very cheap Pitts, right?
It's super cheap Pitts.
And he's got the protection with the 103 and 105. So he's not going to like miss out on somebody he wants because he's going to get 2 shots before the pick. Great deal. Nice job.
Yep. Love it. Greg Oswald, as a rebuilding team, the process tells me to trade Rachaad White for a wide receiver or a draft pick. Who are some wide receivers or what kind of draft compensation should I look for? As always, I appreciate the content. You're welcome, Greg. So here's where I step in. Guys, would you just do a re-roll and take a 23 second for Rachaad White in the Superflex?
No, I just traded Brian Robinson for a 24 second today. Rachaad White is worth infinitely more because Rachaad White actually looks like he's good at football, regardless of the efficiency numbers that everyone's popped up with this week.
Okay, would you rather have Rachaad White or Brandon Ayuk on a rebuild?
I think that's right around the range. I think if you can buy a good receiver that is priced in that range, like 1-for-1. Like if you can get like Deontay Johnson, I would be willing to do something like that. Like I want to get a good player, a guy with historic market share numbers. Marquise Brown is another one. Like I would do those. That's a nice cash out on Rashad White, but nothing less really.
Here, I like this one too. Just gonna put that up there.
Rashad White, go touch base with the Jameson Williams owner. I like that. Yep. Yeah.
Good job, McGruber. McGungan goal.
Good job, McGruber. McGruber, put in the comments if you're in a league with me where it's 2.0 tight end premium, start 2 tight ends and just flexes thereafter, because you want my what's his name, Bellinger in that league. Okay,
Bellinger might play this week, by the way.
Yeah, real quick, super quick. Sorry, selfish. What does Bellinger cost in a start 2 tight end, 2.0 tight end premium, start 9, all flexes and 2 tight ends?
Too much.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in that like kind of dead zone range where I can, if I can just find a guy that's going to get snaps, I can probably produce the same as him. So I just don't want to pay for it.
You guys are cheap. You guys want to hold on to rookie picks forever. I'm giving up. I'll give up a few thirds and no one will trade them.
Don't
start
listen to this.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Don't listen to this, McGruber. Okay.
McGruber, I want a second.
Patty, 12-team, 1 QB, PPR, start 9. Would you trade Chris Godwin for Cooper Kupp in a productive struggle and out of playoffs, looking to really compete next year?
That's interesting. I think I'm ready to compete next year. The difference between Godwin and Cooper Kupp is apparently like 6 points a game. I know that Kupp's older. He's much older. The smart play is Chris Godwin. I'm probably just going to hold on to Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
I just had this offer too.
2 other reasons. One, I'm buying into the receiver that's going to turn 30. I don't care how good he is. 2, I'm bailing somebody out that needs a receiver because they lost Cooper Kupp. 3, I think you can argue that both their situations could be up in the air in the offseason. Like when Kupp first went down, this was one of the receivers where I go, if I can trade Cooper Kupp for, I'm smashing it. It's the tier lower where I would buy Kupp with. So no, I'm not bailing somebody out with this, especially in a shallow start 9. He's probably really hurting without Kupp. He needs to give me a swap a first and a second, and I'll do it.
Oh, so we're on a league together.
I just turned out an offer from Justin. That offer right there.
I made a similar trade. I'm tanking. I'm currently 29 points out of the 101. Trying to shed some points. I traded Marquise Hollywood Brown for Cooper Kupp today. So
I like that.
It's something that I might do, considering based on the situation, but not.
But you had extra intrinsic motivation to make that deal.
Right.
That's not just I'm out of it. I don't give a shit. Let me give the guy a break. This is like there is some extra value. If that goes from 102 to 101, and you throw that in the deal, you crush that deal.
Right.
So I mean, I think that needs to be said when looking at the context of these trades.
And just so you know, the owner I made the trade with had to explain to me and then show me the settings, so I understood that it was potential points and not record.
Rockstar 127 something like that. Thank you for the super chat. What's the most we're trying to get for JT? I mean, start with 2 firsts.
Yeah,
right. Still try to get 2 firsts.
Yes.
Is that a good starting point, you think, Scott, and go from there?
I think receiver in the first, if you can pull it off. But like you already said, you're struggling to get that. I mean, right now, if you have the 101, are you getting a mid 23 first and Garrett Wilson for the 101? Probably not. The team looks at that 101 and goes, you know what? I got to keep my Garrett Wilson. I'll just pick a running back at that 106 and pray,
Yeah, there was a guy who came to us in the comments actually, or maybe it was in TikTok, but it was he would have to give up the 103 and Garrett Wilson for the 101.
You know what? That deal will be there in 4 months. What is the rush to do it right now? So
exactly.
Sure, go try to get that type of package for JT, but you put him on the block, and it's like, man, what I'm getting offered versus what every person, calculator, whatever thinks I should get is they're not in the same ballpark.
Now, look, I need to shill for Dynasty League football because I'm technically a writer on staff, although I haven't written anything in this year, this fantasy football year for them. So let me give them a shout out so I can try to earn my keep besides doing mock drafts for them. If you check out their trade finder, I tell you what, man, JT is still going. Obviously, it's going to depend on Superflex or one quarterback leagues, but people are still giving up a pretty good haul for JT, man. There's one trade I'm looking at where he's involved and someone gave up 3 firsts, 2 23s, and a 2024. And this was just the other day. Another person gave up JT and DeMarcus Robinson and got back Chris Olave and Damian Pierce. I'd make that deal all day. So shoot for the stars. And if you land on the moon, I don't know. That's a saying. It's stupid, but look,
I thought you were going to crush the saying. I thought you were
I don't know the saying. Hey, shoot for the stars. And if you land on the moon, you're still in outer space. Is that the saying? I don't know. You're not even in outer space when you're in the moon. You're in a low orbit space. We haven't. Go ahead.
You landed in a place where you're not dead, whereas you'd probably be dead if you landed on a star.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, here we go, Benjamin Easley. Outbox trade, baby. He sent this offer out. Let's make sure he doesn't need to pull it. 10 teams, start 9, super flex, 4 point per passing touchdown. Give Dak Prescott, Michael Pittman, B-Rob, get Mahomes. Mahomes owner is considering, but what are you willing to add on top of the give side to get Mahomes?
Start 9.
That would be very cheap. That would be very cheap, Mahomes.
Yeah, this is like...
It's only 4 point passing touchdown, guys.
I'm still doing it because he's probably giving up players that are almost outside of startability in the start 9-10 team anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those where it's like, all right, this is my firm offer. And then he comes back to you guys. I'm going to need a little bit more. Okay. What can I go out in my garage and dig through the junk pile and find and see if I can throw another piece and another piece. I settled on 2 more seconds and another bench player here. You feel like you got a nice 6 for 1.
So this is where you go to him and you go, or her, and go, I can sweeten the pot. And like Scott was saying, don't say you're going to sweeten the pot with something good. Literally be like, look, I can throw in a third. Like, is that going to make it better? And then he or she will be like, how about a second? Set their expectations a little lower so that what they feel like they got to win when they got the second. And then after they hit accept, they go, shit, you think I could tell my fat fingered that? So that's what you want to do. But I'd slam accept this.
I'd very easily. I would add on a 24 first and try to get a 24 second back in return, but you got some flexibility for sure. Okay, good luck on that. Let us know how it went. Let's move on to the next one here. Christian, thank you very much for the super chat. 10 team, 2 QB, start 9, have the 101, the 104, and 109. QB room is Fields, Lance, Jimmy G. RB room is Algier and Jared Cook. How do I approach the 101?
I mean, you're running
James
back.
Cook?
What did I say?
Oh, you said Jared Cook. I was like, when's he a running back? No, it's got to be James Cook. Yeah.
I said Jared Cook.
Jared Cook might outperform James.
Yeah, I like Jared. I'd start.
He's
Jared
definitely
Cook.
bigger, probably more physical.
Definitely. He could get those tough yards.
So 2 QB, 10 team. He has one of those QB rooms that, like, if you plug it into a value calculator, it probably says he has like a top 3 QB room in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's probably going like, ugh, I don't know about this QB room. I do think in a start 9 with those QBs, this is a team I'd be fine taking Bijan.
I'm taking Bijan.
Yeah, I think the most dangerous Bijan teams are the ones that actually have a good like foundation already there instead of having to like, I need Bijan to help my roster build. I don't know, Shane, would you try to upgrade Lance with the 104 and try to go like way to the top? Would you try to go top 5, top 6?
Can I add? I start 9. I'd add the 104 and the 109 to go and to Lance and see if I could get Jalen Hurts. And the 101, I'd take Bijan Robinson. And then 30% of my roster is better than 100% of 80% of the league's roster. You figure that math out? It's good. It's very good. Just think about the kind of monstrous weeks you would put up with Fields, Hurts, and Bijan as your top 3. Like, and I don't care about depth at all, but especially in a start 9, you're just going to rip people's faces off, like just destroy their souls. It'd be a beautiful thing to watch. So that's
that is a TikTok right there.
I would that 104, 109 and Lance
54, 59.
104, 109 and Lance for Hurts. Because I don't know if I could turn that down if someone sent me that offer. No, I could because I'm a Philly guy, but I don't know, man.
Yep. Thank you for that super chat. And we just hit 300 up there. And as I talk, it's probably going to go down under 300. But take a peek down. Make sure you hit that little thumbs up for us. We'd appreciate it. Man, we're 55 minutes in already. Let's keep going.
Got questions. Really need to plow through some of these, Clay. Come on, I'm going to need you to keep it moving, bro.
Hey, tighten up. All right, here's our boy Charlie, the Facebook disruptor. Another cool avatar. Charlie, if you could hook us up, we'd appreciate that. Worst to first, 10-team Superflex start 9. Got Josh Allen, Sean Watson, DK, London, Pickens, Ridley, Wandale, Palmer, Gabe Davis, Mark Andrews, Freiermuth, the 102, 201, mid first, 2/3. Okay, so in 24, he's got a mid first, and he lists some other stuff. RBs suck. Moves, buy Diggs or Henry in the offseason. So he's pretty good at QB. Okay, right? He's got a lot of depth at wide receiver. He's got Mark Andrews, 101. I mean, this is one of those teams, right? Again, we maybe take Bijan with that 101. Then see if we can tack that 201 onto some stuff. Get rid of Palmer, Gabe Davis.
I mean, it's a 10-team start 9, so it's shallow. He's got a lot of his starting spots already accounted for. Probably doesn't need Freiermuth on a team. You have Andrews in this format either. So I think he has some flexibility. I agree with him trying to buy, like,
get the
Shane
stack.
would say, the hammers, Diggs or Henry. I'm not in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just not in a rush. When I have this many assets, I'm not in a rush to go buy Derrick Henry, because you know what? If someone else trades for him in April and I miss out, guess what? I'll wait 2 or 3 months and get another running back. So I agree with what he's trying to do. I'm not in a rush to do it. I think he's in a great spot.
And then I was just going to note, look, the names don't really matter. Like Diggs, I won't get fixated on Diggs or Henry. Obviously, I want someone in that range, fine. But, any player in that range. I don't want to end up overpaying just because dude's name is Stephon Diggs when, I could have gotten A.J. Brown for the same price.
And people think he has Allen, so he's going to overpay for Diggs. It's like, oh, I'll just go ask for Tyreek. They're the same thing,
Yeah. And they're not going to get more expensive. No matter what they do, they are not going to get more expensive. Yep. And other managers still going to want them off their team if they're not contending. Okay, thank you very much for that super chat, man. Appreciate it as always. Tommy asks, price check on Olave, Monra, St. Brown, Pickens types. So Olave, are you taking Olave over an early 23 first?
Yes.
As long as it's not the 101?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's right there in the 102, 103 range. If I had one of those, depending on my team build, yeah. But if I'm sitting here going, man, I have 4 firsts, and the only one I can get one of these top 12 receivers with is that 102 or 103, then yeah, I'd make the move.
Pretty much the same for Amon-Ra, early first, early mid first.
I think I'd prefer him in the order on the screen, but the Amon-Ra and Pickens is probably, if I had the 102 or 103, I'd probably hold there just to try to see if I can create some quarterback demand later. But I'd be fine sending a 105, 104 for one of those guys if that's what my roster construction said.
Yeah, it's in the order that it is on this, and I think Olave is in a tier. You know what? No, I'm putting Pickens is about to move up in front of Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's just smashing as a rookie. But I would not give up the 102 for Amon-Ra or Pickens.
Yeah. So you think? Would you give a mid 23 first for Pickens right now? I know you would, Shane. Scott, if the roster construction was right, you would give up a mid 23 first for Pickens. Let's call it the 106.
Yeah, because I think there's more than just his production that's milked in. There is there's a market appeal that's going to be there for him going into the offseason where I think his last KTC value was like wide receiver 16 or something, which is high compared to what he's producing. At the same time, if you hit the reset button and the season ends and you tell people to go rank their receivers in terms of not just demand or talent or profile, or more importantly, who do they want? It's probably not going to be guys like Chris Godwin, Marquise Brown, like, you know what I mean? Like where you would have been like, oh, they're in the tier. Like you'd rather have the George Pickens shares. So I think for that reason, it's not a terrible investment.
Yeah, because George Pickens is an ascending asset. And just so you know, I mean, over the last few weeks, his target share is now up to 16% on the year. It was down at like 13% like 3 weeks ago. He's got like a 17% share over the last 3 weeks, and dude's smashing on his opportunities. I don't even need to look it up, but I'll just say he's outscoring Deontay Johnson on fantasy points per target, and it looks like he is slowly overtaking the wide receiver 1 role there.
Okay, so this is from the community tab, Knight Rider. So roster view. You did one for him. Finishing 7th after liquidating assets. Trade deadline is week 13 and rosters lock championship week. Any players you would add to your bench that shouldn't be on rosters right now, but have a chance to really boost in value in the offseason? I have plenty of bench spots right now. So this was earlier when we were talking about, just trying to gobble up running backs who have a chance, right, to get a gig somewhere, getting rid of the backup QBs. Anybody else come to mind though for you right here after reading this?
That come to mind, or that we have time to talk about on this show? Because I could probably go like 10 minutes on this. I would say this.
Just rip through some names.
Not a lot of specific names. I am looking at every depth chart. I'm looking at their running back room. Look at the 2023 running back free agents. There's a ton of them. A ton of guys where you're going like, wow, as soon as the season ends, nobody's really going to value this guy or that guy. Jeff Wilson, Deontay Foreman, those types are going to end up hitting the market. A lot of guys like that. And you're going like, I don't want them in the offseason. But there might be some of those guys that are a tier below that get cut, that you go, oh, there's no way they're going to survive. There's no way they're going to have any value. But they could be the ones you want to pick up. And you just wait what happens in the summer. Then there's a lot of guys that are sitting behind running backs that are going to be leaving. I just wrote up in my DLF article, Malik Davis on Dallas, Kevin Harris on the Patriots. Like those guys may get usurped in the draft, but there's going to be a window where it's like, wow, Malik Davis played a little bit this year. He looked good, and now he's the backup on the Cowboys. Like you want to have him at free agency time. So looking for those. Those are the ones you pick up in lieu of the roster clogger receivers, the backup quarterbacks, etc. Yep,
perfect. Okay, let's as everybody scrambles to go pick up those guys. Okay, we'll not do the 3-parter real quick here. James, thank you very much for the super chat. Dynasty 12-team Superflex, 6-point per passing touchdown, start 9. 2 years ago, traded JT for T-Law and a 2022 first, which became Olave. Did I win this yet? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a free T-Law. I take
and it's a
Olave
6-point passing touchdown,
yeah.
and he hit on Lawrence, and
yeah. Good for you, dude.
Nice brag, James Ashby. Thanks for the $5 to tell us how awesome you are at Dynasty Trading.
Look, man, sometimes it just feels good when you.
It does. He crushed that.
There's enough times when you don't hit that it's okay to just be like, you know what, I hit on this and that went perfect. Good for you.
Yeah, because you're just sitting there after trading JT and he's just going
and everyone
last year.
everyone when he made that deal went, you sold low. I would have gave more, but didn't send an offer. So good for you, James.
Nicely done. Let's all clap on our own ends for James there. Thank you for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go for Koogski here. We got Gardner Minshew with the sword. Haven't seen you in a while here. No, just kidding there. Thank you for the super chat as always, sir. Tough decision to liquidate, thin roster, not competing in 23, 12 teams, start 11, 1.5 tight end premium. Give Watson, get Fields, Burks, Claypool, and a second. The start 11.
Start 11. Damn, are we buying in the Fields this much? Fields, Burks, Claypool.
You would have to be really buying into Fields this much if you take that.
I'm okay doing it. He actually asked this in our Patreon chat, and I came in late, and I was like, I think I started going off on a Fields versus Watson debate and how I would easily take Watson. But listen, if you want to do this, if you are that confident in Fields, the start 11 part, the fact you're getting 4 assets for 1, all of that lines up with the idea of what we're talking about, leveraging the format, right? Like if this was a start 9 and you're adding 4 pieces for 1 and 3 of them aren't going to be starters, then no.
You're getting
But
a sneaky little stack there. If
Yeah.
Claypool does become anything, that's just a little added bonus there.
And what if you can sell Claypool in a second and get a better player when he signs an extension? Like there's a lot that he can do with that side, and it's really just comes down to a Fields versus Watson debate. And if he likes Fields, then yeah, go for it.
And if Fields can give you 90% of the production that Watson does, then you've absolutely smashed on this deal. So, look, sometimes you got to take risks in Dynasty, right?
I like it.
Like how our dude James just told you about a risk he took that paid off. Sometimes it pays off.
Yep. Let's help out Nathan here. Inbox trade, 12-team Superflex PPR, start 10 with a 1.5 tight end premium. Give DJ Moore a late 23 third. Get David Njoku and the 2023 212. My tight ends are Everett, Taysom Hill, Zach Ertz, and Trey McBride.
I don't know that I'm this low on DJ Moore, and I'm pretty low on DJ Moore.
I think I'd be okay doing it because he's betting that Njoku is I don't want to say like an elite difference maker tight end, but if you had to pick somebody that's not currently valued in like the top 3 or 4, like he's probably the one I would go after. My issue with this is you got way too many tight ends.
Yeah.
You're sitting on, I guess the answer is cut Taysom Hill, take anything you can for Zach Ertz, and then roll with the other 3. And you go with Njoku, McBride, and Everett. But I just look at this and I go, if I have that tight end room, I probably hate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also have too many roster spots already allocated to tight end. So why am I giving up a receiver and a pick for, another tight end and really not much of a pick upgrade? So
Yeah.
I'm surprised Shane likes Njoku and he doesn't like DJ Moore yet. He's hesitant on this trade.
I am hesitant. It just feels like, could I just maybe use DJ Moore and Everett to get a better tight end than Njoku? Like, I love Njoku and I loved him coming out of college. Maybe I'm
but
just
who's better? There's like 4 or 5 names. Would you take Freiermuth instead?
I'd take Freiermuth, Goddard. I would take
TJ
Hawkinson. No, TJ Hawkinson.
So those 3 would be so then shoot for those 3. I'm fine with trying the same trade with all of them, but what if they all go nah, I'm good, All
right, well then I'm trading DJ Moore because I got him on too many damn rosters and he's just done nothing but kick me in the balls for years now.
Okay, so what did we tell him to do there? Yes. Njoku? Yeah.
Okay.
Try every other one first, and then I guess go to that if you have to.
Yeah, keep that other one. Keep that one open. Shoot out some other stuff. Somebody flushing the toilet in your
dirt bikes. It's Philly, man.
Didn't it sound like a toilet flush, or was that just me? Field has a question here. 10 teams start 8 Superflex PPR, a playoff 23 first, and George Pickens for Waddle and a 24. Have 3 other early 23 firsts, and I'm going to make the playoffs this year.
Is that a 24 first?
I'm guessing it's a 24 first.
That's a smash then if you're getting the first back.
Yeah, if you're getting Waddle and a 24 first and you're giving a late 23 first in Pickens.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're actually like sneakily
you're kind of doing your
first.
For a 24 if it's a random 24.
Now, correct us though. If that's supposed to be a 24 like third or something like that, then I'd still consider it, but it's not just an absolute smash. This is an absolute smash.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out in the comments for a clarification post from you. But if this is it, then smiggity smash. I just got lamer after saying that.
Oh no, yes, definitely.
100%.
That was awful.
Let's go to Michael Coles here. It's a 24 second. I unstarred that, but I remember it was give a late 23 first and Pickens, get Waddle and a 24 second.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Get her done. Michael Cole, 12-team Superflex, tight end premium, start 11, middle of the road team. Give Lamar and Ayuk, get Watson and London.
Oh, yes. Oh, my. Immediately. Next.
All right. Next. Let's see here. Okay. Mike D took it. 12 team, 1 PPR, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. I'm thinking about targeting Eckler from a non-contender. Willing to part with a late 23 first, all my 24 picks, Gibson, Mike Evans, Pacheco, Christian Watson, Hollywood. What can get it done?
All right, he's a non-contender, so he doesn't want Mike Evans. At least I hope he or she doesn't.
Try
Probably.
Christian Watson and Christian Watson in a 24 first. If I want to win, I'd pay that for Eckler.
I'll pay the late 23 first and Christian Watson for him.
And what you try to do is you try to also swap your 24 first with his, if his sucks. Like literally just throw in your 24 first for his 24 first. And you're betting that that's, a 103 and a 110 or something like that. So put that out there. Try that. I like that deal.
Yeah, good. Okay. Keep on trucking. Let's go to how many top QBs is too many in 2 QB, not super flex? Have Watson, Mahomes, Tua, and 9 first over the next 2 years. Should I sell one? Already have Pitts.
I sell the firsts. Trade the firsts. 2 QB. I got Watson and Mahomes there. Man, I'm trading those first for players. Tua is my QB3. I don't know that I need to trade him.
So I'll make this 30 seconds. This is where you have to know what the ideal roster construction is in your league. Once you're there, I guarantee you're there with Watson, Mahomes, and Tua. You just kind of always be working around your third QB and your first. Just trying to continue to leverage value without breaking up your roster construction. So this would be a trade where if you said, okay, I'm going to trade Tua, but I'm going to go down to Kirk Cousins in a first or something like that, I'd have no problem with it because you're using that spot to gain extra value. So you're already in the catbird seat. See, you're there. Just don't mess it up and this team will dominate.
Keep on trucking here. Let's go to Simon. Thank you very much for the super flex, sir. Thank you very much for the super chat, sir. 12 team Dynasty super flex. I traded a 24 first, 25 first, 24 first for Jalen Hurts. My lineup is Hurts, Eckler, Sanders, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Ayuk, Freiermuth, B-Rob, Deshaun Watson, and Goddard on the IR. Am I good for the future?
Yes.
You may not be good for the future, but you smashed this trade. So
yeah. I mean, your running backs. I don't know. We can't predict the future in 2 years. None of those guys could exist, or Sanders could be the new Eckler for all I know at this point. Who's Jay Jetta?
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin one.
Yeah, I like that.
Shane likes him. He's good.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
You got a great team. I mean, strong all around. So yeah. Are you good for the future? Yes. I mean,
look,
keep an eye on the age, but no.
I mean, it's not the greatest roster, but literally he got Jalen Hurts and he actually allowed the person took a 25 first back to trade him away. So yeah, you did good in this trade. Just sit on the laurels of that.
Yeah. You won that one. But don't think you're playing with house money and make a dumb trade. Keep that profit there. Okay. Let's here's one for Shane. Is Sky Moore a buy for a late second?
How late? Like the 216?
As late as you want. Would you give a late second for Sky Moore?
I would.
Scott would. Shane?
Yeah, we'll do it.
The only alternative is I need to buy more running backs in that range, and that's what you're going to draft, so I'm okay with it.
Darth Desmond, thank you very much for the super chat, man. Hey, guy. Superflex, 12 teams, start 10. Have 2 23 first late and a 24 first. QBs are Dak, T-Law, and Pickett. I can try to do Dak and T-Law for Burrow. Should I? Deadline is Thursday. No real wide receiver, tight end, studs. Javante on IR. Nah, I'm not giving Dak and Pickett for Burrow.
This is where Shane and I differ a little bit. When I have Dak and T-Law, and I have a third quarterback and I have picks, I'm not actively trying to go and pay my picks to upgrade one tier at quarterback. I probably already built my team around Dak and T-Law. Like I'm not looking to trade those guys and go up a tier. So the idea of Dak and T-Law for Burrow is laughable. But you could see people go, oh, I have Dak. Should I go add a first and a second to go get Kyler Murray? Should I go add a first and a second from T-Law to go get, the next tier up? And then all of a sudden, great, I have two slightly better quarterbacks, but then I have no other assets. So unless he just has a stacked team, I'm good. I'm good with that quarterback room.
Yeah, he said he didn't have like any other like real studs to speak of on the team. So I don't want to give up two quarterbacks for one quarterback and then, have to address that at some point. And I don't have any other studs. I just don't like giving two quarterbacks away and only getting one in return.
No.
Doesn't add up, right, Shane?
No, I'll break out the percentages later. 80%, 30% of the teams, but no, I don't like that deal. Now, if it was for Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, maybe then we could talk.
Okay, pre-playoff trade completed. Received Olave, a 23 third and fourth. Sent Hopkins, Khalil Herbert, and 223 seconds. Per your guidance last week, how did I do?
I love it.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Turned an old receiver and filler pieces into a kind of a cornerstone asset, and he still got two cheap picks back. So great job.
Good trade.
Real quick, just back to Jim. No, I'm not trading a late second for Sky Moore.
He just sent it to you, right?
Yeah, I just looked at his target share on the year, 6.3. My man's going to need to have about a 70% target share over the rest of the season for him to even approach 15%, which is what we needed at a rookie. So Sky Moore is dead. Loved him. Thanks. Bye.
Matthew Main, thank you for the super chat. 12 team super flex. Start 10. Tight end premium rebuilding. Have picks 101, 102, 105. QBs are Watson, Pickett, Mac Jones, running back Brees, wide receivers are boom bust. Take Gibbs and Bijan or trade back.
Start 10. I'm just doing some math.
I'd be fine taking Bijan. I actually don't. This might sound a little crazy. I don't hate his quarterback room. I think it's about as good as you can get without having two elite quarterbacks. You have one, and then you have probably two top 18 QBs. It's just they're not top 12. But I think it's a decent platoon that you can probably get away with for at least the foreseeable future. So I think this is just you take Bijan, and then you're kind of looking for, is there a way I can split the 102 and the 105 into three strong assets and just continue to build that way? Because I'm not really this is not a team I'd want to draft another quarterback necessarily. I'd rather use it to try to buy another one instead of use a 102 on a risky quarterback pick.
Yeah, if I can get a quarterback for the 101, Joe Burrow level and above, sure. But otherwise, no, I'm fine with taking Bijan here. And then you got the 102 and 105. You don't have to make a decision right now. You can decide what you want to do at that point.
What QB can he get for Kenny Pickett in 102? Could he get Kyler, Lamar?
I can't imagine, but if I would try.
T-Law?
I don't know that I'd give the 10. You said the 102 and
102 and Pickett or 102 and Mac. Could you do those for T-Law?
102 and Mac, yes. 102 and Pickett, also yes.
We love this. The Mac versus Kenny Pickett debate is gonna rage on.
We talked about it last night too.
Yeah, now I like Pickett over Mac, but not significantly so. Okay.
If you wouldn't mind holding off on the super chats, we would appreciate that. Just looked at the time and yeah, we're running out of it. Thank you very much for all the ones we've received thus far. I got to pop this up real quick. Dad, Brian Cromwell is here. What's up, Dad? Welcome. Glad you could join.
All right, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not really sure what this is referring to, but yes, I am old.
Yes,
I think that's when you didn't know who Jay Jetto was.
I don't know who Jay Jetto is.
Yeah. Okay, let's go here back to StreamYard. Okay, weird question. This is funny. Weird question. Go Birds. Got me to open it and show Go Birds there. That's great. Okay, let's go to Heavy Kevy. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Didn't make a trade this week. Just here to support the channel. Hit that like button. Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Baller.
that.
Here every stream. Shout out Heavy.
Yeah, I think
Pound.
definitely there's like 15 people that their names that will always ring to me because they've literally been on every stream or since the very first one.
Yep. Here's another one too. Uncle Piff told you that 5 minutes wouldn't be long enough with Scott and Shane in one of the first episodes.
This was true. Yeah,
This is correct.
it's not me.
Okay.
I'm very brief.
Extremely. Michael's got an inbox trade. Let's go through this real quick. 10 teams, start 10, Superflex, half PPR. Give Kyler Murray and Garrett Wilson and a late 23 second. Get Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff.
I don't love this one.
No, this is an overpay. Not look, I love me some Jalen Hurts more than at least one of my kids, but Kyler's also like the other kid that I love a little bit too. So no, I'm gonna stick with Kyler and Wilson here.
That avatar, man, it stares at you. It was weird.
It's quite weird. Okay, let's keep going here. Moving on to Matthew. Did I already have this one? Yep. So unstar that.
Here, let me show one.
Okay.
Hey, how do you submit a roster review?
Oh,
you
gosh.
shoot an email to Dynasty
He
Trades.
text Shane on his cell phone.
Dynasty Trades, and I don't know the
Yeah,
email.
yeah. So there are a few people who still haven't heard back from the last live stream on Saturday, where I said to email dynastytradesand5@gmail.com. You could also DM us on Twitter at tradesand5, but we prefer the Gmail address. And if you send them and I am late getting back to you, my apologies. I see it. I've got the timestamp there. And I will absolutely get to it. We just had a bunch of people who were on a quote unquote wait list while we had them paused. So roster reviews are back up. Email us at dynastytradesand5@gmail.com. Here's what it looks like. I disappear. And in between Shane and Scott, you would have your roster up there, and they break it down top to bottom. They knock out a couple every day, or at least they try to, and we pound through them. People love them. And we do charge for them. We do charge for them because Shane has a very, very bad habit with iced coffees.
Okay.
Scott with his energy drinks. Yeah, you're good. You're good on the cocaine now. And yeah, I do some overlay work, so I guess I get a little piece too. But thank you very much for those who have done a roster review, and definitely hit us up if you'd like one as well. Okay, so let's move that back to the banners here. Let's go to Davy Cakes. Thank you for the super chat. I had to clear my throat. Thought I'd spare everybody there. 12 team, Superflex, start 11. QBs are Mahomes, Hurts, Kyler, Watson, Zach Wilson. Got Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, DJ Moore. Oh, yeah, a little Cooper Kupp, JT, Brees, Chubb, Eckler, CMC. This is a start 11, 12 team Superflex. Andrews and Goddard, 4 early, 23 first. What deadline deal should I look for?
I don't know which top 10 overall dynasty assets don't you actually have on your roster. So I guess Jamar Chase and I don't see Ken Walker. You might as well just try to add those two to your roster.
I mean, he needs 2 more top 8 quarterbacks too. You know.
No, I mean this is how you build dynasties. You've got a stack team and you've got 4 23 firsts. On top of that, they're early. So don't get crazy and start getting trade happy.
No, there's no reason. Although, look, if you want to move someone, sure, Goddard's out another couple weeks, and you
could find some trades for you.
You're fine at tight end. You don't really need Mahomes, Hurts, Kyler, and Watson. So, if you wanted to move one of those for straight up for Jamar Chase, well, no, not straight up. If you wanted to move Kyler for Jamar Chase, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah, I mean, he says deadline deals, so I think just to sum it up, you are looking for trades that can push you forward from like a leverage standpoint going into next year. I can't imagine this team goes anywhere unless you just completely ignore it for like 6 seasons, and then it ends up being bad. But this is one of those teams where it's like, dude, it's going to come down to how your players hit during the playoffs and if you pick the right players to play. You can't do anything more to literally add to your team unless you just go and try to buy every good player possible. But I don't think you can do anything. Good job. I don't know
Yeah,
how the hell he built this team, but
great team. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
great. Just get
Sick.
Bijan, and then you can do whatever with those other 23 first. But at least Bijan gives you some insulation with that Chubb, Eckler, CMC
and
age
throw that team
there.
on Twitter at the end of the year. Might be able to sell it for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Very
And
true.
start a new one.
Very true. Thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. Let's move on here. I've got a bunch of stuff that I had posted in the community chat too. One sec. Sorry, I'm doing a lot.
You only have me for like 6 more minutes, so you better get moving, bro.
Okay.
Shane's paid by the hour.
Shane is paid by who's paying you, Shane? Who's paying you to be here? Right. You all talk about wide receiver rookie thresholds. Are there any QB thresholds that need to be met for a rookie to be a long-term option, i.e. Pickett? Seems like a more volatile position. Scott, you just did a show on quarterbacks in terms of their thresholds and warp and whatnot. Can you answer this in 1 minute?
I can answer it in less than 1 minute. So
Ooh.
again, check out that site that I always plug. It's rbsdm.com. Play around with it. It is a great place to figure out from a NFL standpoint what quarterbacks are good, what quarterbacks aren't. For rookies, it's not just as simple as saying, oh, this guy sucked, so he's not good, because I think we have to give rookies a little bit of a different scale that we're grading them on. But I think if you just take a guy like Kenny Pickett and you say, okay, he's not very good from an NFL standpoint, but I also think he has a pretty stable organization and he has the buy-in of his organization. So when you mesh those two things together, you know he's going to get another couple seasons, right? It's not like Josh Rosen or Zach Wilson where it's like, man, he's not good, but he's also got no buy-in from his team. And there's not a lot of buy-in in the dynasty community either. Like when you put those three things together, those are the quarterbacks I want out of. So I don't think there's necessarily a number. I'm looking for in year 2, I need some efficiency though. You can't be Zach Wilson in year 2 and be like, yeah, he's going to eventually get better in year 3, year 4, year 5. Usually if you don't see it in year 2, the team knows.
Okay. We're going to have to run through a bunch of super chats here. Justin Mack, thank you very much. 12 team super flex, start 10 PPR. I have Herbert, Geno, Pickett, and Andrews and Jags. No 23s, 324 firsts. Gave Mike Williams, Pickett, Ayuk, 2 mid, 24 seconds. Got Lamar Jackson. 2 starters short of 10 now. 2 thin. First year dynasty, fixing mistakes.
I mean, you might be thin, but
amazing trade there.
Yeah, it's not because you gave up Williams, Pickett, Ayuk in a couple seconds for Lamar Jackson. Even in a start 11 or start 10, what is this? Start 10, dude, that's absolutely stealing. Like absolutely stealing.
Yeah, you're just at the beginning stages of starting to build your team, right? You know, you have Herbert, you have Lamar, you have Geno. Your QBs are squared together. Now it's basically, how can I find the cheapest amount of points at the skill spots for the next year or two until you get to those 24 first? But I like the deal. I think you make that deal, even if you're in a rebuild, like you don't be scared to trade away what you traded away. So good job. Keep working at it.
And Justin noted that it's actually start 11, and that's what I thought it was for some reason in my head anyway. But even in a start 11, I'd make this deal every day of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess just moving forward, watch out for the give 4 or 5 for 1. Try to get 2 for 1s like on any trades between now and 2024. Would you say before he has those first?
Get thirds back.
Be careful with the depth. Yeah, get
a second back, a couple thirds. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, thank you very much for that, Justin. And I'm sorry to anybody if we're running through these. Let us know if you want your money back. Jason, thank you for the super chat. How you like that tanking treatise, Shane?
I don't know what this means.
I don't either. Did you hear how I just kind of slurred it to make it sound like I said it right? Treatsy?
Yes. That's probably not right.
You're like, it's like he's kind of confident.
Treatise. Yeah, it's right. Treatise, a written work dealing formally and systematically with a subject. I don't know what this refers to.
I looked up the definition and I don't I guess we'd have to sit here and spend more time thinking about it than probably what we can. So
look at Jason's avatar. He looks way more studious than we do.
He looks like he knows way better words than us, definitely.
Yeah, that's all you got? Treatise?
Yeah.
No, thank you for that super chat, and feel free to put some clarification into the comments, man. Okay, Tommy K's, thank you, sir. 8-team, start 11, 2 QB, 2 tight end, half PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. I have Burrow and Watson at QB, Chase, CD, Higgins, London, Burks, Christian Watson, Pitts at tight end, no running backs. 323 first, 424 first, and 425 first. Any tips? And PC on price check on Olave, Pickens, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. I think Tommy asked that in that separate comment that we starred. So any tips for that squad?
I mean, in a start 11, 8 team, it's still shallow, even though he has to start 11 players. But I mean, he's got so many assets that I think you kind of go shop. We already kind of talked about a question with those ones that he put up there with those 3 receivers specifically. So I think you just go and kind of inquire, and I'd be willing to definitely give up 2 assets for one of those guys, but
Yeah,
just kind of check on all of them. You can add another starter or 2, but you're pretty stacked in terms of your asset count here. Nice job.
What can Burks and Watson get me?
And with one of those 23 firsts, you're gonna take one quarterback, right? In a 2 QB when you've got Burrow and Watson, but get you a Stroud or a Young, and then you still got, think of yourself as having 2 23 firsts, taking a quarterback with one of them. Okay, is that good?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Appreciate you. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Gavin, thank you for the super chat. If playing for 2023, would you rather have Deontay or Ramondre Stevenson? Also, let's say the offer is Deontay plus the 112 for Ramondre and the 212. 1 QB, which side?
I'd probably take Ramondre, and I don't know if the pick swap is enough for me in a 1 QB to say I'm absolutely going the other way on it. It comes down to what can I do with that 112, because generally I think the 112 in a single QB is going to be a little bit of an overvalued pick, but it's probably still within starter range. So can I use that as a viable asset? 212, I'm probably not going to be able to. So that would be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's super close. I like Ramondre a lot, so I'm probably gonna go Ramondre. Same as Scott.
Okay, let's move this one here. Thank you, Gavin. Appreciate it. Let's go to where we go. A 12-team Superflex start 10. Should I try to upgrade T-Law? If so, what type of tier up? I already have Mahomes, but I'm rebuilding for next year.
No, I'm good sticking on T-Law. Like you have the QB1. I think I can confidently call him that again in Dynasty, or the QB2 after Jalen Hurts with Mahomes. T-Law is someone that we think has top 10 upside. We just talked about it in our video that's going to drop at some point. I'm fine with holding that as my quarterback room.
I think if you're asset poor, then no. But if you have a bunch of assets laying around and you want to try to go up a tier, sure. But a lot of times if you're rebuilding, you're trying to go the other way and accumulate assets. So I'm good with that room.
Moving on to Mike Conran. Thank you very much for the super chat, Mike. Inbox offer, 12-team Superflex, tight end premium, start 10. Give Damian Pierce, get my 23 first back, likely the 112. Have Henry, Monty, Rashad White. May have to start Slayton this week if I accept.
I like it because it's his own first. It's not the 112 if you don't win the championship. So it's actually a decent little a piece of insurance you're buying. And I still think I'm not going to feel bad about trading Damian Pierce for the running back 5 in this class if that's what it ends up being. So I'd be okay with it.
He's gone. I've been telling you to trade Damian Pierce for a 23 first since the dawn of time. So I'm not going to tell you not to do it now. I don't know who Slayton is. Steve Slayton? He came back from the Texans?
I'm guessing Darius Slayton.
Darius? Okay, Darius has been...
Yeah, he's back from the dead.
Yeah, but I mean...
I remember people wanted a first for him not too long ago.
Those were the days.
Okay, so I am going to go off camera and switch spots. I'm going to move from the office to the kitchen. So you guys keep talking. Let me announce a question here first, though. So let's go to this one from Sebastian. 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, start 10. Give a 23 first, and this is going to be the 101 to 103 range, a mid 24 first, Jamison Williams, get Jamar Chase, and a 23 third. Rebuilding, have Kyler, Dak, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Burks, Pitts, a 23 first, 3 seconds, and 324 first. What do you guys think? I'm going to hit the road.
See you around.
So there's a big difference between 101 and 103, right? And he's still then giving up an additional first and Jamison Williams for Chase and a third. Like this, I'm okay in the format getting Chase, but at the same time, you're kind of violating the pay more than 3 first for a receiver rule. So I don't know if you have a different take, but if that has a decent shot of being the 101, I'm not doing it. If it's the 103 and you want to do it because you can get Chase, sure.
You know how I feel about hammers. I like hammers. Those are my friends. If I can get Chase, I'm doing it. He and Justin Jefferson are like the 2 other players that fall into I'm okay when you have to overpay to get them bucket. And it would suck giving up Bijan, but I could survive giving up Bijan, JMO, and a random 24 first. So I'd be okay with this. I would do it.
Yep.
All right. Clay's not here, so I guess we'll do the questions.
I'm going to roll through them. You ready?
All right, let's go, boss. Gosh, he's back.
And he's on mute. So that's rookie streaming mistake by Clay. He's on mute.
I'm here, but you start this question, and then I'll sit down.
Yeah, we had a follow-up. Daddy Mayhem says he asked this weeks ago, but things have changed. So Shane, 10-team, 1 QB, 6-person keeper. There's his list. Barkley, Burrow, JT, Fields, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, Jamison Williams, Treylon Burks. I'm guessing he's keeping 6, and it's 1 QB. So where do you stand on Burrow and Fields in 1 QB?
I'll take Fields over Burrow, the upside.
Okay, so Burrow's out then.
Yeah, see. We're keeping Wilson. We're keeping Olave.
Keeping JT. I'm keeping Barkley, and then I'm probably keeping Burks over Jamison Williams and Christian Watson.
Yeah, and luckily we've got 5-6 more games before we really need to decide on that last spot. But yeah, yep. I agree with you.
Yep, cool.
Okay, I'll take back over driving here. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to overplayed here. 12-team Superflex, start 10, PPR, half-point tight end premium. I have 3 mid to late 23 firsts and the 102. My QBs are Dak, Daniel Jones, Trey Lance. I want to get off Lance. Any thoughts on who to target? No real RBs, and best wide receivers are Ridley, Dotson, and Wandale.
Man, so he's in a tough spot because he doesn't have a lot of assets, but he's probably going to need assets if he wants to go up from Lance. So does he go backwards from Lance? Will you go down for Lance if you can get another first on top? Would you go Cousins and a first for Lance? Like that type of deal, would you start there? I think that's probably a good place to start because his receivers are bad too, and no running backs. So the picks are probably going to need to be split into more assets by themselves. So I don't think you can afford to add picks to Lance to get a better quarterback here. Shane, you agree?
Yes. Sorry.
What are you looking at right now, Shane?
I was looking at Jason's treatsy. Yeah, I remember. Well, let me get back to it after this. I have 3 mid late 23 first, and then 102 my QBs are Dak, Daniel Jones, and Lance. I want to get off of Lance. Fine. Any thoughts on who to target? Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen to anything Scott said, but obviously I'm always going after Jalen Hurts. I'm always going after Kyler. No, it's not. Is it 1 QB?
You literally just said the opposite of what I said. I said he doesn't have any other players, so this isn't the team I'm going to buy.
No real running backs, and best wide receivers are Ridley, Dotson, and Wandale. Oh, that's awful. No. No.
I think you got to go backwards with Lance. You got to
He's
go to
gotta
like
go backwards with
Cousins
Lance.
or Pickett or Mac Jones and a first. Like you got to split those.
Try to turn Lance into either multiple picks or a first and a quarterback, and I would have already probably jettisoned Daniel Jones for multiple seconds at this point. To be honest with you, when your best wide receiver is Ridley, who we don't even know if he's going to be allowed to play football, and then Dotson and Wandell. Oh yeah. No, don't listen to the first part. I clearly wasn't paying attention, but no, don't move up for a QB here. Don't tear up.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat.
But Jason, real quick, just wanted to show Jason shared, and I forget where he did it on Twitter, maybe, or was it in YouTube, an 11-page document on basically why tanking is tanking the argument. It's why you should allow people to tank. Basically, it is in depth. Jason should share that with everyone.
He shared his dissertation. I'll have to check that out.
He put some work, man. It's got like citations at the bottom of the page.
Yeah. It's got like the little asterisks, explaining the citations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, Jackson, thank you for the super chat, man. 10-team, 1 QB, start 8. This is in his inbox. CD for DK and a first.
Done.
Full rebuild. Currently have 10 firsts in the next 3 classes. Thoughts?
10 first in the next 3. Oh, wait, that's counting 25. Look, dude, if 6 of those are in 25, that doesn't count.
So he'd be getting CD in this one, right? Isn't that how you're reading it?
Oh, I'm reading that he's trading CD for DK in a first.
That's how I read it too. I read it as he's getting the 2 for 1, which it's a 10-team, 1 QB start 8, so extremely shallow, but he's going the opposite way of what the format would dictate. But he says full rebuild, so maybe he wants to just play with the 2 assets instead of the 1. So I'm okay with it.
Look, I'll take CD here. You've got 10 first-round draft picks. Like, I don't want to make most of these picks, so I'm going to start using these on players that I know are really, really good. And CD Lamb is the wide receiver, I don't know, at worst wide receiver 6 whenever I get around to doing rankings.
Yeah, Jackson, you can correct us if you're still around, but I read it as he would be getting CD for DK in a first, full rebuild, because currently 10 firsts. He's talking about how many firsts he has. Like, listen, I've got an extra one to spare here, but yeah, going CD. Hopefully that's the side you're getting. Okay, we'll hide that comment there. Thank you very much. Recovering Ridley Truther. Yo fam, what's up, man? I have a team highest in points against, over 400 points, but mid pack in the max points for. Bad schedule and injury luck. Where do you draw the line of retooling, rebuilding, and keeping the fam together? Push with the same team next season?
So I'll say for this year, if I have a team like this, I just don't really push any further if I'm right in his spot. But I'm also not, if I get in the playoffs, I'm taking a shot, because it sounds like his team has had some bad luck to where it could potentially win a little bit more than what like his 6th or 5th seed says. Regarding the next year, I mean, I think we got to almost see the full roster. You know, we can't really look at this year and say, oh, he's had some bad luck this year. It means it's going to happen next year, or vice versa. So I'd have to see the full roster to know for sure. But for this year, if I'm in like 6th place and I think I'm struggling, but I have these metrics, I'm okay trying to add as many cheap points as I can without disrupting my future construction and try to go for the ship.
Thank you very much for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. We got 2 more here, and then I got to run. The Dudney, thank you, sir. 12-team, 1 QB, PPR, start 8, 0 RB, 1 season tank, 101 lockdown. Gave Deshaun Watson, Christian Watson, and Pacheco, got Breece Hall. To 1 QB, start 8.
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, because of the format. I would have been okay if it went the other way too, but no, I'm fine with this.
And he's going to crush everyone's face with Breece Hall and Bijan next year.
If Breece Hall can actually walk onto the football field at the beginning of next season, that could be some scary stuff that those 2 running backs could do together.
Yeah, good trade, man. Good trade. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go to Don Juan to close us out. 12-team Superflex PPR start 11. Send a 23 first and Brees for AJ and Damian Pierce. I'm a low-end playoff team, probably not good enough to win without a trade.
Is that AJ Brown? Is that who we're guessing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's a lot for AJ Brown. When we just talked about how we're trying to get out of, it's Brees for.
I think the part is you don't want Pierce, but can you turn around and flip Pierce for something else in a second? Like, can I get another running back that nobody really wants for Damian Pierce, and I get a second on top, and all of a sudden that turns into Miles Sanders a second and AJ Brown for
Right.
Like, if I can do something like that, I'm fine with it. I think I don't look at Pierce as a guy that's going to really help me win. Now I'm buying into an asset that I might be stuck with. But I'm okay Brees Hall for AJ Brown. That's a smash. Even if I add a late first, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're paying a little bit more than for Damian Pierce than I want to. But yeah, I'm getting AJ Brown out of the deal. Do it.
Sometimes you got to do this and take on the asset that everyone else wants to get rid of in Pierce, and then it's your problem. But you still have an asset to move. So try it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep. Okay, that is it for us. Sorry for blasting through those last couple. 273 people in here who I'm sure have already hit the like. These Tuesdays are awesome. Thanks so much for joining, and content moving forward. Obviously it'll be very topic heavy, strategy heavy up until everybody's had their trade deadline. So when you see these streams, don't assume it's just trades. Hopefully we give you some valuable insight on other things as well. Guys, would you like to say goodnight? Sure.
I was going to answer one more question before we left. So Dylan, 14 team start, 10 super flex, 5 point half point PPR teammate, first place in the league, gives up Justin Hebert. 10th place team gives up Mac Jones, Damian Pierce, late 23 first and a 24 first. This is not enough for Justin Herbert for me in a 14 team super flex.
Cool. I agree.
All right. One more. Dylan, this is the same exact one. I'm going to unstar that. Sorry.
One more, and he pulls up the same one. You should do a show, Clay, where Shane runs the whole show and you switch spots with him.
Yeah, that's no, I'm good on that. Okay.
18 start, 14 full PPR, half PPR. Trevor Lawrence plus what gives me the 101. I have the 102. DM us, Stephanie and Caleb, whichever one of you is watching. Put this in the chat and we'll answer this. This is a little more in depth than we could probably get to in the next few minutes.
So that's the one you pulled up to do quickly and then started reading it and realized it was way too long.
There are dozens and dozens that we could that we haven't been able to do because of time constraints. I got a boogie. Do you want to stay on, Shane?
No, I gotta pack. I got a slumber party tomorrow.
The Tuesday night streams are awesome. There's a couple other comments in here I'd love to pull up, but yeah, we're going to keep going. It's only growing, more content, more streaming. But these Tuesday streams, I mean, I never expected that the Tuesday streams would be as fun as they are. So thanks again for everybody for coming out.
Appreciate you all more than you'd ever know. You guys rock. You gals rock. All of you are awesome.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.